The sun had just begun its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the tranquil town of Aab-e-Hayat. Nestled between lush green valleys and bordered by a serene river, it was a place where time seemed to slow down, and the rhythm of life was dictated by the whispering winds and rustling leaves. It was here, in this idyllic setting, that Nouman and Sana first crossed paths. Nouman was a quiet, introspective soul, known for his dedication to his work as a primary school teacher. His love for literature and poetry had earned him the affection of his students and the respect of his colleagues. He was a man of routine, finding solace in the predictable patterns of his days. Yet, beneath his calm exterior, there was a heart brimming with dreams and unspoken desires. Sana, on the other hand, was a vibrant force of nature. She had recently moved to Aab-e-Hayat to work as a nurse at the local clinic. Her vivacious spirit and infectious laughter quickly endeared her to the townsfolk. Sana possessed an innate ability to see beauty in the mundane and find joy in the smallest of things. Her presence was like a breath of fresh air, infusing life into the sleepy town. Their first meeting was unremarkable, a chance encounter at the local bookstore. Sana had been searching for a book of poems by Rumi, and Nouman, ever the helpful bibliophile, had guided her to the right shelf. As their fingers brushed against the same book, a spark ignited between them, subtle yet undeniable. They exchanged polite smiles and brief pleasantries, but the moment lingered in their minds long after they parted ways. Days turned into weeks, and their paths continued to cross. At the market, by the river, at the clinic where Nouman would often bring his students for routine checkups. Each encounter deepened their connection, and soon, they found themselves seeking each other out deliberately. They shared long walks and endless conversations, discovering common interests and kindling a friendship that felt as though it had always existed. As autumn painted the town in shades of amber and gold, Nouman and Sana's bond grew stronger. They spent their evenings by the river, reading poetry and sharing stories of their pasts, dreams, and fears. Nouman found solace in Sana's presence, her laughter echoing in his heart long after she had left. Sana, too, felt a sense of completeness with Nouman, his steady demeanor grounding her restless spirit. One evening, as they sat by the riverbank, watching the sunset, Sana turned to Nouman, her eyes reflecting the colors of the sky. "Do you believe in destiny, Nouman?" she asked softly. Nouman looked at her, his heart swelling with an emotion he had yet to name. "I don't know," he replied honestly, "but I do believe that some people are meant to find each other, no matter how far apart they start." Sana smiled, her gaze drifting back to the horizon. "I think you're right," she murmured. "I've never felt this connected to anyone before." Their confessions hung in the air, unspoken but understood. They were falling in love, and it was a beautiful, terrifying thing. The days that followed were filled with a newfound tenderness as they navigated the delicate balance between friendship and something more profound. They spent every possible moment together, their bond growing deeper with each passing day. However, life, with its unpredictable twists and turns, soon cast a shadow over their happiness. Sana received news that her father, who lived in a distant city, had fallen seriously ill. She was torn between her duty to her family and her burgeoning love for Nouman. With a heavy heart, she decided to return to her father, leaving behind the town and the man who had come to mean so much to her. On the day of her departure, Nouman accompanied her to the bus station. They stood in silence, the weight of unspoken words pressing down on them. Finally, Sana turned to Nouman, her eyes brimming with tears. "Nouman, I don't know when I'll be back," she whispered, her voice trembling. "But please know that you've become a part of me. No matter where I go, you'll always be in my heart." Nouman reached out, gently wiping away her tears. "And you'll always be in mine," he replied, his voice steady despite the ache in his chest. "Take care of your father. We'll find our way back to each other, I promise." Sana nodded, her heart breaking as she boarded the bus. She watched as Nouman grew smaller in the distance, his figure a lone sentinel in the fading light. As the bus wound its way out of Aab-e-Hayat, Sana clutched her memories of Nouman tightly, hoping they would be enough to sustain her through the uncertain days ahead. The weeks turned into months, and the distance between them seemed to stretch infinitely. Sana threw herself into caring for her father, whose condition slowly improved under her diligent watch. Yet, despite the busy days and sleepless nights, her thoughts constantly drifted back to Nouman. She found solace in the letters they exchanged, each one a lifeline connecting her to the love she had left behind. Nouman, too, found the separation agonizing. He missed Sana's laughter, her presence, the way she made the world seem brighter. His letters to her were filled with words of love and encouragement, but beneath the hopeful veneer lay a growing sense of despair. He feared that time and distance would erode the bond they had forged, leaving him with nothing but memories and regrets. One day, a letter from Sana arrived, bearing unexpected news. Her father's health had taken a turn for the worse, and she had decided to stay with him indefinitely. She poured her heart out, expressing her pain and longing, and her fear that they might never be together again. Nouman read the letter with a heavy heart, the reality of their situation sinking in. He realized that as much as they loved each other, life had thrown insurmountable obstacles in their path. They were trapped in a cruel twist of fate, their dreams slipping through their fingers like sand. With a sense of finality, Nouman penned his response. He poured all his love and sorrow into the letter, acknowledging the harsh truth they both had to face. He wrote of the joy Sana had brought into his life, and the hole her absence had left behind. He confessed his deepest fears and his unending hope that one day they might find their way back to each other. As he sealed the envelope, tears blurred his vision. He knew this might be the last letter he ever wrote to her, the final chapter in their bittersweet love story. He took it to the post office, his steps heavy with the weight of goodbye. Sana received Nouman's letter a few days later. As she read his heartfelt words, tears streamed down her face. She knew he was right. They had to let go, at least for now. With a trembling hand, she wrote her reply, expressing her undying love and gratitude for the time they had shared. She promised to keep him in her heart, no matter where life took them. And so, with aching hearts, they parted ways. Nouman continued his life in Aab-e-Hayat, his days a blur of teaching and poetry, his nights haunted by memories of Sana. He found solace in his work and in the knowledge that he had loved and been loved so deeply. Sana remained by her father's side, her love for Nouman a constant source of strength in the face of adversity. Years passed and life went on. Nouman and Sana lived separate lives, their paths never crossing again. Yet, the love they had shared remained an indelible part of them, a testament to the power of connection and the resilience of the human heart. In the quiet moments, when the world grew still, they would think of each other, their hearts whispering a silent prayer of love and gratitude. And though they were apart, they knew that they had once found something beautiful in each other, something that would forever shape the course of their lives. Time, with its relentless march, eventually dulled the pain of their separation, but the memories remained vivid and cherished. Nouman often found himself by the riverbank, reading the poems they had once shared, his heart swelling with both sorrow and joy. Sana, too, would gaze at the sunset, the colors reminding her of that evening by the river where they had confessed their feelings. They never forgot each other, their love a quiet, enduring presence in their lives. It was a love that had been tested by distance and time, a love that had endured even when circumstances had conspired to keep them apart. It was a love that had taught them the meaning of sacrifice, resilience, and the beauty of fleeting moments. Nouman and Sana's story became a part of the fabric of Aab-e-Hayat, a tale whispered among the townsfolk, a reminder of the fragility and strength of the human heart. It was a story of love and loss, of dreams and reality, and the bittersweet nature of life itself. And though they never reunited, Nouman and Sana lived with the knowledge that they had loved deeply and truly. In their separate worlds, they carried the essence of each other, a love that had once been their refuge and their strength. It was a love that had transformed them, a love that would forever echo in the chambers of their hearts.